amnesty leaves cops in shock.
Jesus.
Burton, Staffordshire. It's midday, and the bodycam cops are preparing to raid a house as part of a crackdown on drug users. Sergeant Giles Harper is leading the briefing.
We are potentially using force today. This is a warrant. Obviously, we could ultimately come up against some resistance at the address that we're going to. So in relation to that guy, this is a matter of course, and in accordance with force policy, you can make sure you've got your guns running.
They're all kitted out with DEMS, body-worn cameras to help gather evidence by recording everything.
When we go in there, we need to dominate. We need to take control of those individuals. If they are in possession of large amounts of drugs or large amounts of stolen property, that could change the dynamic somewhat, so just be on your guard, okay? Any questions from anybody?
Who's going to be in the lead vehicle? Is he yourself in the carrier?
Yeah, Dickie, you're going to be in the carrier with us.
PC Steve Flynn will be in charge of busting the door.
Stephen Flynn, response team, Burton.
Do you want to look at this, Flynn?
It's imperative Steve gets the right house.
So it's 2 doors in, 3 doors in from the alleyway. It's the mahogany style brown door.
Over the past few weeks, police have received intelligence that the address is frequented by drug users, causing antisocial behaviour in the neighbourhood. Today, a team of 10 cops are hoping to put a stop to it, including Steve and Sergeant Tom Johnson.
So we're going to take some good stuff off the streets, basically, hopefully, get some people in custody as well that are responsible for quite a lot of problems around the area.
If you live in the area and you've had to problem with these people, you've been ringing it in, and I mean the location where we're going to, it is pretty much back opposite a primary school. You know, it's totally unacceptable what they're doing, really.
It's crucial that Steve breaks the door down fast. Any delays could lead to the operation failing.
So it's definitely a good bit of adrenaline, force an entry potentially into a drug den. Ideally, you want to get in onto the door and be able to go through with one hit, hopefully. Whereas if we're hitting the door 5, 6, 7, 8 times, after the second hit, they're going to notice the police. And if there is anything in there of value, i.e. drugs, that they don't want us to find, they'll be gone. Whether it's someone swallowing them, chucking them down a toilet, or even concealing them up there, points where you don't really want to be looking, they'll be doing that. So the quicker we get in, the better all round, to be fair.
Just got the van about 4 behind you.
The 2 police vans and 3 cars park round the corner from the address.
Yeah, just park the pats out here, Dandy. Okay. We got Philip? Dickie on. Come on, let's go.
Body cams on.
Not only do the cops have to act quickly before the suspects are alerted, there's extra pressure on Steve, who will be going in first.
Behind that door, you don't know what's there. You need to be at a certain level where you're pumped up enough to go in and prevent yourself from potentially getting assaulted or injured by whatever's behind that door. You have to have that element of adrenaline inside you.
Put your hands together! Put your hands together! Put your hands together!
That's him.
As Giles and Steve detain the 2 men in the lounge, the team check the rest of the house.
Make sure you can't display any property.
And take it, given the paraphernalia on the table, you're using drugs at the moment? No? What's with the crack pipes then and stuff?
Depends on you somehow.
Okay, okay. How come they didn't take it with them when they left? It's just not normal, is it, to have a crack pipe on your table, or more than one anyway. My colleague just pulled 2 crack pipes up from underneath, doesn't it? There's obviously rolled up bits of foil there as well, which would indicate some sort of drug use is going on. Would you not agree?
Yeah.
So you don't use yourself, no?
That paragraph.
The two men are handcuffed while the cops search every room. But the condition of the house tells its own story.
The place is obviously not in great shape, is it? Clearly not. If they're making any money, they're not making a lot. So if they are doing any kind of drug activities, it's not going to be huge amounts, and it's probably just to supply their own habits, if that's what they are doing. But they clearly, there's not a lot of finances going into that property, I would have thought.
Amongst the clutter, Giles has found a suspicious bag of pills.
Nice.
Yeah, you have any more headaches if you take them on?
I just take the cocaine one out, but I
It'll be found here before I start portioning and thinking about using my rest panels.
Description years ago when I was bad, years ago.
When you were bad?
When I was back, 10 years ago.
10 years ago, you don't use them anymore? I'll tell you what, I'll get you sign one of my colleagues' PMBs, or you'll formally just hand these over to us, yes?
The bag of pills will need to be sent for forensic testing.
Because it gives a bag.
Moving through.
Upstairs, Giles and the other officers wonder if they've found enough evidence to charge the two men.
I don't know, because it looks like there's traces of heroin here. So what do you reckon?
We've got paraphernalia, money, scales, there's your change, drugs.
Yeah.
Got them both in. Don't come across any yet.
You're both under arrest.
I'm not even here.
I think you both been arrested, okay?
Yeah. Make it a move, sort of out of their way.
It's not exactly the biggest drugs find that you're going to find in the country, however, this is in its early days, this address. This looks like to be some sort of preparation area. We've got here a rack with a brown powder in it, which my basic experience is going to tell me if it's going to be anything, it's going to be heroin, which we'll test. We've also got SIM cards, phones, that's a line of inquiry. We have what appears to be a little cashier set up here where you bring your money, you take your choice, you get your drugs and you owe some change. So all of this here will be seized in due course, and that's the main reason at this early stage why we're bringing these pair in. Come on then, come stand by the carrier.
That's it. He's going. Grandma going.
Shot down for an hour or two, isn't it?
Giles takes the two men to custody while the rest of the team continues searching the house.
It's solid on the top, to be fair.
Within minutes, there's another find.
Stood there.
Oh, nice one.
That looks to be heroin. Quite a decent amount of it as well.
The cops won't know for sure if the white powder they've found is drugs until it's been analysed.
We can shut down operations like this, no matter how small or how big they are. There's clearly caused a problem for the people in the area. So, as you can see, it's terraced houses, everyone's living in quite close proximity to each other. So anything we can do to try and stop anything like this is always going to be a positive, really. So.
The items seized from the house were forensically examined and turned out not to be controlled drugs. The phones were also analysed and there was no evidence to prove drug dealing. Both men were released with no further action. But because of the continued antisocial behaviour at the property, the man was evicted from his house.
Uh-oh.